Hey guys, it's Alex. Today I'm gonna take the GT500 for a drive, and a lot of you have noticed that in my videos I'm double clutching to go from gear to gear just so that I avoid any grinding. So a lot of you guys are like, Alex, why don't you just float the gears? And I know what that means. Basically, you offload the engine from the transmission slightly and you nudge it into gear. I see a lot of diesel guys do it. The Cummins diesel guys do it, with theirs. And truckers sometimes do it with their big rigs or whatever. But I don't know how a faceplated transmission acts when you try to float the gears. So I thought it's an interesting thing to try, because if you're just offloading some of the torque and letting it slide into the next gear, then the clutch doesn't really need to be used, except for just taking off or putting it in first. And then if that goes well, I'm gonna attempt to do a wide open throttle 2-3 shift just by lifting off the gas slightly and then getting back into it, again, unloading the drivetrain, getting it into gear, and then loading it again. And I'm gonna try to do it without the clutch, because that's what the fast guys do with the strain gauge. The strain gauge, when they pull on it, it cuts spark, lets it go into the next gear. And because I have a face-plated, Billy Badass transmission, I thought, you know what, let's see if that's possible, and let's see if that's a more efficient way of racing or driving this car instead of having to double clutch all the time and have 2 extra processes each shift. So I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna drive just around the neighborhood, up and down the street, just to see how it feels, if I can get the rhythm down. And if I can get the rhythm down and get used to it, then I'll go ahead and do a 2-3, because a 1-2 is useless. Even 2-3 is kind of useless at this power level, but worth giving it a shot for some of the content. See how it goes, but I'm sure I'm going to grind the gears a couple of times. Okay, I get it. My leg, that it's not moving, my left leg. 5th is synchronized, so I'm not going to go into 5th. So, and then downshifting, obviously I'm going to clutch in. Go to first. I guess that works. And then 5th is synchronized, so I don't want to crank it in there, but yeah, I guess I don't have to double clutch at all, like ever. Huh. It takes a reorganizing of the brain to do that, but not that bad, you know what I mean? Let me see downshifting, see how that works. Definitely not going to work. Yeah, don't do that, Alex. I think downshifting's a little more sensitive. Let me see. No. Okay, so I kind of have to know where it's going to fall, but I don't know. Forget the downshifting. I don't downshift normally anyway because of the way the transmission's configured. But holy shit, forget downshifting. Unless I figure out which RPM, I don't know. Be interesting. 2.3 is the only one I'll be able to do because, I don't know, 1.2 just is gonna spin the tire. So, shit, I gotta wait. There you go. Okay. I'll do a quick shift, like low RPM. Aggressive fashion. Downshifting is a problem. There we go. I still want to downshift with the clutch. Up, you know, it's weird to downshift without the clutch. Let me take advantage of this here. The gas a little, no clutch. Oh, fail safe. I got a rinse light and I got no throttle. Great. Now I gotta figure that out. That's the first time I threw a throttle body code. It threw a P2112, which is a throttle actuator. Again, remember, this is a twin inlet, hasn't been done anywhere else. So, first time it actually threw a P2112. It's odd. So we'll keep trying. Let's see if we can do another hard 2.3. See if the throttle acts up again. Again, no clutch except just for taking off. Timing has to be perfect, and I think that's kind of the issue with the strain gauge. You know what I mean? Like, I attempted to let off and get it into the next gear, and it was not happy. So I'm like, you know, that's the issue I think a lot of people have with the strain gauge. If it doesn't offload the transmission enough to, you know, allow it to go into the next gear, then yeah, that could be weird, right? So that, I think that's why I advocate using the clutch all the time. I did it in a low RPM. It wasn't an issue. I guess it offloaded enough. But I don't think it's worth it to have inconsistency like that than to just clutch in. So, yeah, I don't know. I'll try it one more time, obviously. Make sure everything's cool. You know, a lot of people make fun that, oh, you don't know how to float the gears, this and that. And I'm like, yeah, but floating the gears requires a lot more precision, and again, that takes away from the driving experience. You guys might not think so because you don't know shit, but you know, if you got to be ridiculously precise, I'd rather double clutch and go whenever, you know. So I'll try it one more time. 2-3, breathe on the gas and get it in the gear. Did not go into gear, so it's not unloaded enough, and I don't want to rely on a strain gauge. Fuck that. Fuck that. Nope. It actually felt out of control. Went up, let off the gas, tried to go into gear, nothing happened. So I think clutching in is the way to go always, because it ensures you are know, you're separating the engine from the transmission momentarily, whereas maybe a strain gauge or other things won't. You know? Yeah, double clutch. Double clutch. I'm sorry. I love you guys. I love you guys. I think you know everything on the internet, but I've attempted it, and I'm not the best driver, but I'm definitely not the worst driver. And after seeing that, when I let off the gas, it just stayed in that gear. It didn't unload it enough to go into the next gear. I genuinely got scared, and I'm like, I am not in control of the vehicle. So for those of you that say you can shift without the clutch, just breathe on the gas a little bit. I love ya. Too inconsistent. When I can literally just clutch in really quick and unload it, it's happy. So there's that video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed me. Not using the clutch for normal driving. Upshifting is okay. Downshifting, it's not okay. You have to be super precise. I would rather double clutch. And at the end of the day, all this proves is that you should keep your synchronizers in your transmission for a better driving experience. Thanks for listening, guys.